With me, it's not the principle of the thing, it's the money.
Justice, first question. Is there anything going on at the court these days?
In seriousness, Justice, one theme that's come out of this conference, I think, is the importance of institutions. Yeah. And that institutions are under attack these days. So I thought you might want to comment on the leaks.
Protests at justices' homes, and what we're seeing in the wake of this leak of the alleged Dobbs draft opinion. Alleged Dobbs draft opinion.
It is to laugh. Ho, 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 ho. Huh? What's this? To start avalanche, pull keystone. Only a dirty rat would do that. Or a dirty duck.
Well, I've, first of all, it's a real honor to be here. This is...
It's just such a magical evening, and everyone looks so spectacular, you know, we just wanted to be a part of it all. It's a night of magic.
Hard to believe that 40 hard years have passed.
Since I was at...
Thought, and it has continued with the thoughtfulness, and that's really all we ever wanted.
Not to replace one orthodoxy with another orthodoxy, we had enough of that, but rather to assume that people are able to think for themselves, to have different ideas because they're unique, to exchange different perspectives and perhaps have others either agree with them or sharpen their disagreements, but to have a civil discussion. That was all. That's why it was called New Alternatives.
But we thought, at least in a civil society, it certainly was not treated that way. Really. And that sort of, we were treated very shabbily after that. The whole idea, to your point about institutions, I think we are in danger of destroying the institutions that are required for a free society.
You can't have a civil society, a free society, without stable legal systems. You can't have one without stability in things like property or interpretation and impartial judiciary.
Partial judiciary.
Do you want Foofy for his money? No. Sorry.
I'm sure the polygraph was going like this, like the bitch is lying, she's lying.
And I've been in this business long enough to know just how fragile it is. And the institution that I'm a part of.
If someone said that one line of one opinion would be leaked by anyone, and you would say, oh, that's impossible. No one would ever do that. There's such a belief in the rule of law, a belief in the court, a belief in what we were doing, that was verboten. It was beyond anyone's understanding, or at least anyone's imagination.
And look where we are, where now that trust or that belief is gone forever.
Someone drove a hot dog-shaped car through the window!
Driver's gone.
Somebody call the cops. We need to find that driver. They could have killed someone. Whose car is this?
Yeah, come on! Whoever did this, just confess. We promise we won't be mad.
What?
We'll close our eyes, just take your car and get out of here.
Sir, that's clearly your car.
Wrong.
Someone call the police!
Yeah, that's one idea. Or we can work as a team, find out whoever did this and punish him ourselves. Maybe take his bare butt out of his costume and spank him. Maybe you could do it, sir.
Not gonna happen.
Okay, you.
No.
Well, one of us is gonna have to do it.
No one's getting spanked.
Thomas, he's now 61 years old. He's a Yale Law School graduate. He's been on the court for 18 years.
When you go out here or outside of this place, are you frequently recognized?
Oh, goodness, yeah.
Are you?
The anonymity's gone. That is probably, or was probably, one of the more difficult things to accept. The sort of loss of anonymity, the ability to walk down the mall unnoticed or to go to Home Depot unnoticed.
Because of the confirmation hearings?
No, those have been 18 years
right,
ago.
that's what I'm thinking.
But no, it's still, I mean, I'm the only black guy up there, so it's easier to recognize. I think when Justice O'Connor was the only woman, it was easier to pick one person out who's different.
60 minutes rewind.
Of all you've heard about Ronald Reagan, there is someone you haven't heard from. A person who's had almost as much impact on the history of our nation as the president himself. As a rule, Supreme Court justices don't give many interviews. But Justice Sandra Day O'Connor sat down with us to talk about the man who made her the first woman on the Supreme Court.
Justice O'Connor has become one of the most powerful women in America. In the years since Reagan left office, O'Connor has been the deciding vote, laying down the law above the land on abortion, affirmative action, and the decision that made George Bush President of the United States. We sat down with Justice O'Connor at the Supreme Court, an institution that had seen only men on the bench for nearly 2 centuries, until Ronald Reagan changed it forever.
It had an incredible ripple effect of making opportunities become available for women. It was just a remarkable transformation. And I really think he deserves an enormous amount of credit for making that happen in this country.
Nomination of Judge Sandra O'Connor of Arizona Court of Appeals as an Associate Justice of the United States
Interesting
Supreme Court.
artifact.
Just 6 months in office, President Reagan made his first appointment to the court, and other than his work to end the Cold War, many believe that this was his greatest achievement.
How did it change everything?
Because a woman had never held a position at that level of our government. And it was a signal that it was all right that women could be in such positions, that they could do well in such positions. And so opportunities at every level, not just for lawyers and judges, but across the spectrum, opened for women. It was wonderful.
President Reagan used to say that the judges he appointed to federal courts would long outlive him. He brought 3 new justices to the Supreme Court, but he will be remembered most for adding the first woman here who wasn't made of stone.
He got into Stanford University at the age of 16 and finished 3rd in her class at Stanford Law. But even that couldn't get her a job in 1952. One big law firm told her that they'd never hired a woman and had no plans to do so.
Bruh.
Her first job was in a prosecutor's office, working for free.
She continued to work hard, ultimately rising to become a state appeals court judge in Arizona.
Well, I think he said he'd like to appoint a qualified woman.
And when you heard that, what did you think?
Well, I thought that was a great idea. You know, it had been 191 years since we became a country, and no woman had ever been on the court. And it was still hard for women to achieve success in our country at that time. Very happy where I was, and it was not a job to which I aspired.
Not a job to which you aspire?
No.
The Supreme Court of the United States?
No.
And then the Attorney General asked if I could go by the Oval Office, and I said, fine, but where is it? I was really not familiar with Washington, D.C. I'd never been to the White House. I wasn't sure where to find it. And so the Attorney General arranged that his secretary would pick me up, and I stood on DuPont Circle and waited on the sidewalk, and along came Attorney General Smith's secretary in her green Chevrolet, and we made our way to the White House. And that was pretty exciting, because of course I'd never seen the Oval Office or anything in the White House.
You felt that you weren't qualified to take the job?
Well, I didn't know if I was qualified. I hadn't been tested.
You get tested for this job the hard way.
The hard way, yay, by doing it.
Larry understates some of the things he's done. He did talk me into being a judge, and for that, we will settle later on about that. I was minding my business.
But we have, he's been a very, very good friend. And he was the one who gave me the best advice on being a judge. He said, Clarence,
before every case, ask yourself, what is my role in this case as a judge?
and that is the simple formula that I still use. He, as well as Judge Silverman and some others,
conspired to get me onto the bench and to orchestrate some of the things that subsequently happened in my life.
At the same time, they were also those who stood to protect me and defend me. And, you know, it was Dr. King who said that you don't think so much about the people who are against you, but you do think more about the silence of your friends.
Those who say to me, stick to civil rights, I have another answer. Others can do what they want to do. That's their business. Other civil rights leaders, for various reasons, refuse or can't take a stand or have to go along with the administration. That's their business. But I must say tonight that I know that justice is indivisible. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Well, I am very pleased to announce that I will nominate Judge Clarence Thomas to serve as Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas was my first appointee to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, where he served for over a year, and I believe he'll be a great justice. He is the best person for this position. Judge Thomas compiled an excellent record at Holy Cross, graduated from Yale Law School, and served with distinction in the Missouri Attorney General's office, in the Reagan-Bush administration, and in our administration, my administration.
He's a native of Pin Point, near Savannah Point, Georgia, where he was raised by his grandparents. His background includes a strong emphasis on education as the key to a better life, and he attended rigorous Catholic schools where he excelled.
After spending a year at the Immaculate Conception Seminary in Conception Junction, Missouri,
Sandra transferred to Holy Cross College in Worcester,
where he supported himself through loans and scholarships and jobs, and graduated with honors in 1971.
After graduation from Yale Law School,
he worked for then Missouri Attorney General John Danforth and spent 2.5 years litigating cases of all descriptions. In 1977, Judge Thomas practiced law in the private sector, and in 1979, he rejoined Senator Danforth as a legislative assistant in the U.S. Senate. In 1981, President Reagan appointed him Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights in the Department of Education. From 1982 to 1990, he served as President Reagan's chairman of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and I appointed him to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia in 1990.
I have followed.
He is a delightful and warm, intelligent person who has great empathy and a wonderful sense of humor.
He's also fierce as the facts and the law require.
And he's earned the right to sit on this nation's highest court, and I am
very proud indeed to nominate him for this position, and I trust that the Senate will confirm this able man promptly. And now, Judge Thomas, if you'd like to say a few words, and then what we'll do is questions for either of us, and then if you finish, then I'll be glad to stay and take questions on a wide array of subjects. Thank you, Mr. President. You're welcome, and we're just so pleased you came up. All yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Supreme Court of the United States. As a child, I could not dare dream that I would ever see the Supreme Court. Indeed, my most vivid childhood memory of the Supreme Court impeach Earl Warren signs which lined Highway 17 near Savannah.
Well, I must in some kind of trouble.
I thank all of those who have helped me along the way, especially my grandparents who are my mother, and the nuns, all of whom were adamant that I grow up to make something of myself. I also thank my wonderful wife and my wonderful son. In my view, only in America could this have been possible. I look forward to the confirmation process and an opportunity to be of service once again to my country and to be an example to those who are where I was and to show them that indeed there is hope. Thank you again, Mr. President.
Now, well done. Now,
Mr. President, how will you answer concerns stemming from Judge Thomas's days as chairman of the EEOC, that in that post he was somewhat insensitive to the concerns of the elderly and civil rights advocates, and that he didn't aggressively pursue their complaints?
Well, obviously that complaint, if it was even raised in his confirmation hearings for the second highest court in the land, were satisfactorily answered. In my view, the complaints are unfounded, of course, but I doubt if anybody had strongly felt that he would have been confirmed for his present position.
The defendant is not guilty, but somebody in this courtroom is. Now, gentlemen, in this country, our courts are the great levelers.
Joining me now to discuss all of this is the Democratic Congresswoman from Texas, Jasmine Crockett. She's a member of the Oversight and Accountability Committee.
I don't think it's my voice that they actually will pay any attention to. I think it's going to be up to the voters. God knows how bad that could be for us as a country if this court gets any worse. So I don't think that they're really willing to listen to me. But I absolutely believe that the people are the only ones that are going to be able to rectify this issue.
Congresswoman, is this gaslighting?
Listen, we know that this is the most ineffective and unproductive Congress in the history of Congresses. We know that nothing is getting through, and we absolutely know they're beholden to those corporations instead of being beholden to the people that actually put them into power. All these issues, and at the center and core of these problems is the Supreme Court.
You note that there's an interesting dynamic going on between Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Thomas. You say that, quote, Roberts holds the gavel, but Thomas holds the power. Can you say more about that dynamic between these two lions of the right?
The idea of the way he puts it as originalism, that only laws that are rooted in, quote, history and tradition, meaning the social views of property-owning white men from the 1700s, govern our country today,
has become dominant.
And sometimes Roberts down.
Justice Thomas is sort of the intellectual heft of the conservative movement on the court?
Yeah, so basically what those anti-abortion groups were looking for was a roadmap. Everyone who had ever gained a law license knew that this was a nothing burger, that y'all were real nice a second ago. Listen, Clarence Thomas is corrupt. End of story. I mean, nobody gets this kind of money and isn't influenced in any way. That is where we stand, and that is why the American public is outraged at this court right now because of the likes of Clarence Thomas, and I absolutely believe that there is going to be a reckoning on November 5th.
You are now tuned into the tomb of Jehovah. Play my tunes loud enough to shake the room. What's that hold up? Heard the world is in it soon. I assume that they told you they trying to dinosaur us. So now it's time to go up. The sky's falling, baby, drop that ass for it crash. The sky's falling, baby, drop that ass for it crash. The sky's falling, baby, drop that ass for it crash. The sky's falling, baby, drop that ass for it crash.
Attack on the right, it's on the line. Typing it fast, then it's slipping my mind. Oh, and I'm drunk, I'm spirited back. I fall in a fire and then I save myself. Then I get advantage cause the fit is so raw. In these times of sedition, well, nothing is dark. And I'm moving in the stillness and recording it all. And I love her, just a lover, just a lover, just a lover, just a
The sky's falling, baby, drop that ass for it crash. The sky's falling, baby, drop that ass for it crash. The sky's falling, baby, drop that ass for it crash. The sky's falling, baby, falling, baby, falling.